As of today, the M4 Mac Mini has been announced. And in honor of the third major redesign of the Mac Mini, I thought, let's visit the original Intel Mac Mini, the 2006 Mac Mini, and see just how useful it still is today. Let's go. Anyway, I'm Greg Hrutkay, Hrutkay Mods, and welcome everyone to this mini-series I'm going to start right now with this Mac Mini here. If you remember this Mac Mini, it was in this series up here back in 2016, 2017, the 32-bit CPU Mac series. And this Mac Mini started out as an early 2006 Mac Mini, and then I fried that board. It became a late 2006 Mac Mini, and then I flashed it to a early 2007 Mac Mini, I think that's right. And then I upgraded the CPU and RAM to a 2.33 gigahertz Core 2 Duo and 3 gigs of RAM. So this system is about as maxed out as it gets. And right in front of me right now, I have the entire 2006 Mac lineup, except for the 20-inch iMac and the Black Book. Oh, and the Mac Pro, but the Mac Pro is a whole different beast. And we're going to have a little mini-series to see how useful these are, since Apple is slowly sunsetting all Intel Macs, and this is probably the last OS that Intel Macs are getting. Let's get started with the first Macs that Apple left in the dust around 2012, 2013 with updates and stuff. They no longer get any. And some of these systems are better than others. Some are upgradable and some aren't. And the ones that are upgradable are arguably better. So in today's video, though, we are going to be running the latest Mac OS this will run, which is Snow Leopard. You can actually run Lion on this particular one, but I believe it's got Snow Leopard on it right now. I can't remember. It might have Lion on it. So we might be running Lion on it. It's been a while since I've turned it on. We'll also be running Windows 10 and running Windows 11 on it. And we may do a follow-up video running Linux on it. Yeah, it's kind of a pain with 64-bit Linux and a 32-bit EFI. But like I said, this system has been upgraded to a 64-bit CPU. So it's still semi-useful today. So let's see just how useful it is, and let's go. So welcome to Lion. And yes, this does have the late 2006 board in it. And yes, I did forget it was running Lion on it. It is definitely running Lion, as we can see here. It also says it's got a software update. What? So I've noticed with this old age of it almost being 18 years old, it's got a lot of severe coil whine now. You can tell when it's reading the SSD that's in it. It sounds like it's reading a squeaky hard drive. It doesn't have a hard drive in it. And it's kind of painful to listen to because it's just that perfect high-pitched squeal that makes your ears want to bleed. But we are updated now, so we'll close this out. Let's go over the specs real quick. Let me zoom you guys in. So people are always asking me why I went with 3 gigs of RAM instead of 4. Well, it's because this chipset that's in here can only really use 3 gigs of RAM. Anything past that, it can only see 4 to begin with. But anything past that, and it causes a memory swap problem, which even though you could have it in dual channel mode, it really doesn't make any difference having it in single channel mode when the system's as slow as it is. It's actually more stable with 3 gigs in it. So if you're running 4 gigs in a 2006 or 2007 Mini, I'd recommend downgrading one of the modules to a 1 gig stick. But these are nearly identical gig sticks. We've also got an SSD in here, right here. It's one of the early SSD Now 5 series Kingston drives, which is from about 2010. It's a little slow. And we're talking about SATA 1 speeds in this system, so this is going to be slow either way. And we have the Intel Gem A950 graphics. So that's basically everything you need to know about this system. We're going to first test it in Lion and see if it is still usable in today's modern web or just using it in general. So right here, I've got Firefox Legacy on here. Okay, this isn't even Firefox Legacy. This is Firefox 48, which is the last version that supported Lion. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've used this thing. This was a brand new browser when I installed Lion onto this. And we're on number 132 now, and this is number 48. It tells you it's been a while since I've used this. So what we're going to do, Firefox Legacy is really out of date. I believe there's a fork of Chromium that still works. So we're going to download that real quick, and we'll come back. So the most current Chromium is Chromium Legacy version 127, which I think they're like 130 now on Chromium. So it's still pretty current. The thing is, with this browser, I can't download it. I don't know what to do. We might still need Legacy, and I don't know if Legacy will work. I'll be right back. Yeah, he's taken all the links down. This is really annoying, because I'm going to need a modern system to download a working browser. Fun. Thank goodness I've got a semi-modern but extremely slow Mac sitting next to it, so we can just network into it and transfer the file over, and it will slowly copy it over. This might take a while because I unzipped it on that Mac. 622 megs. Oh no, this is going to take a long time. 1 megabyte. Oh no. Yeah, if I haven't mentioned, I also believe I upgraded the Wi-Fi to a wireless in module, which would help download things faster. This originally came with a wireless G module, and it's still not very fast. I'll come back when it's done. Yay. All right, about 5 minutes later, we transferred the build of Chromium over. And if I go open up Launchpad, it should be right. It should be right here. And it's opening. Yay! Okay. Don't sign in. And welcome to Chromium Legacy, which is a little glitchy. Let's see here. Yeah. It's the most recent one. This is from May, and it's currently October, late October, so it's a little old, but still current enough. It should open everything. So we're going to start with modern-day sites that a lot of people that watch me use, like YouTube. And it's actually fairly quick, considering. Oh. I spoke too soon. And the fans are ramping up. Now, surprisingly, this thing was a lot more useful back in it crashed. Uh-oh. So yeah, I don't know what to say now. This was a lot more useful in late 2016 and 2017 when Lion was still semi-supported on things. It's not looking good so far. The thing is, we might still be able to run browsers that are made for Snow Leopard, and they actually still work. I don't know if they'll work in Lion or not, so I guess let's find out now that we have a modern-day browser that may run long enough to download it. Yeah. I'll be back. So, every time the fan ramps up, the browser crashes. I was just getting ready to download another browser. It's not looking promising. Third crash, different website. Yeah, I'm starting to really love this. Man, is Lion really, really useful today. Sadly, Snow Leopard is actually more useful. Once you get the browser downloaded for it, it seems to work fine. I've not had any problems using Snow Leopard, but Lion is getting on my last nerve. I kind of wish I was running Mountain Lion on this right now, because it can technically run it. I should have installed it on here. It's more stable. Yeah. I've got an idea why it's crashing, actually. I'll be right back. So Chromium is designed for stuff that actually has semi-decent graphics. This is a GMA 950, and, well, needless to say, it's the bottom of the barrel when it comes to performance. So I just disabled hardware acceleration, and I'm wondering if that will fix it. Hey, let's see. Uh-oh. No. No. Nope. Crash. Yeah. I'll be back. So say hello to InterWeb. This is the Intel build. The last update was from October of 2022. So it's 2 years old, but it's still modern enough where it should, in theory, work. There's also another build, which I haven't tried yet. It's a continuation of the builds, but I think this will work fine. Let's try YouTube again. And InterWeb is basically Firefox 48, or Firefox 45. It's kind of like, shoot, I forget what it was called. The PowerPC thing. Man, it's been so long since we used it, because I use InterWeb now. That one here, I don't remember the name of it. Why do I not remember the name of it? Anyway, it's based off of that, but it's for Intel. And as we can see here about InterWeb, it doesn't even tell you which version it is. It just says 64-bit. Yeah, useful. So let's open up one of my videos here. It's not the fastest in the world, but it works. Fans are ramping up. That's concerning. Yep, it's loading. Slowly. Oh boy. Let's do, for the heck of it, let's do my Windows 11 video. Since we're going to be running Windows 11 on this by the end of the video. The fan is really pumping away now. It's not thrilled. I tried to switch to Chrome. It didn't work. Chromium, but still. Wow. It's sort of working. Sort of. Why is it so small? Skip. Wow, that's... 4:1 to 7:1 Mac Pro. Today's episode in the third part of the mini-series. Let's try full screen. We will be talking about how to install Windows Oh yeah, that's a great video. So let's get to it. There it goes. Oh, it's like port 144p. Why is it so low? And it just froze. No, it didn't. How high can we get up here? This is not working well, as you can tell. You can get better performance out of a Power PC. It's running at 240p. Let's
Alright, so forewarning, if you guys don't want to hear me ramble and just want to skip straight to the tutorial, check this timestamp wherever I put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Today is October 7th. I started filming these videos October 3rd, and
this is a teeth-grittingly good time here.
between when I tested
Please give me the options
and
again.
filmed the video.
What?
I
Hello?
tested everything on my MacBook Pro, which uses similar hardware and stuff.
Well, needless to say, 240p works. It's not what I was planning.
Well, September 30th was a whole different copy of
Can we
Windows 11.
please
23H2.
do something here?
Is now no longer available from Microsoft.
It looks like it's gotten sharper,
October 1st.
but I think that's still 240p.
Archive, and it takes forever to download.
Close out of
If
it.
you want to use 23H2,
Close out of it.
but it's only supported until
There it goes.
I think it's October
I think.
2025. We're installing the newest version, which
We'll mute that. So yeah, that's the experience of using YouTube on here. It's an experience. Yeah, Lion doesn't like. It might run better on Chromium, but I can't get Chromium to run. So, well, the last thing, let's try Facebook on it. I'm afraid to even try it. Please? Hello? Can we? Hello? What the heck? Now you watched me delete that whole line and it still added it to the end of the URL. And we're watching the video again. What the? Really? Okay, you can. What the? We'll do this. We'll reopen it. It's cool, the fan slowed down the second I closed it. So I'm going to quickly log in here, and we'll come back. So we've been logged in for over a minute now, and it's not doing anything. Now, before you go asking, why is a Core 2 system so slow? Because actually, yes, they are actually a lot quicker still today. It's a mixture of the graphics, which suck, and the chipset, which sucks. It bottlenecks the crap out of the CPU. Because that CPU, believe it or not, is still fairly decent in today's modern uses. In fact, I still use a number of Core 2 systems daily. And, yeah, it's working great. I'm going to attempt this one more time. So I can't get it past the login checkpoint. And yes, I do use this browser in Snow Leopard with Facebook a lot. On my early 2008 MacBook Pro, it works fine. It doesn't on this. I've got one more idea. Thought we tried Chromium, and it crashed again. Let's open up Firefox 48. Good old Firefox from early 2017. Yeah, let's see. It's using the light version for unsupported browsers. I'm going to log in real quick and see if Facebook loads. So new Facebook requires you to sign in with your mobile device, which I'm filming on. That page it was freezing on and wouldn't load was the you need to confirm your login page. Look, Facebook. And it's working, kind of. Let's open up low-end Mac and see what happens. Oh boy. The fans are getting faster. Yeah, working great. There we go. Here we are in InterWeb. It's actually working now. It's a little slow, but you could use Facebook online. Honestly, this runs faster on a G5. Ah, there we go. Yeah, oh boy, it's a speed demon. Yeah, I don't think I'd recommend using Facebook online anymore unless you have a functional browser that's at least more modern. It might help a little bit. It works. Would I call this useful and usable? If you don't mind using 240p YouTube videos and waiting 5 minutes for a Facebook page to load, yes, it's usable in Lion. But that's really not the main idea of this video. Let's get to the main idea. It is running Windows 10 22H2 on it right now. This is the most recent version of Windows 10, and this is the 64-bit build. Since this is a 64-bit CPU, it can do it. It's got all the acceleration and all the features on it. And I also really need a regular PC mouse. I'll be right back. I got a regular PC mouse now. So we'll show you that it is running with full acceleration. Everything works. If we go to... It's not fast, I'll give you that. Please. It's thinking about it. There it goes. If we go to Device Manager, it will eventually load it. There we go. We got all the drivers on here, and there's one display. There's one driver here that, I learned from experience after that series that you need to run the official Windows 7 driver on it, because the Windows 10 driver that automatically installs and downloads every time you update Windows is broken. It screws up acceleration and everything's slow as heck. But if you're running the Windows 7 driver, it runs fine. And it's actually not too bad. Look at that. It's snappy. It's actually snappier than Lion. The thing is, with the Windows 10, I've learned in the last few days since I updated this. There it goes. If we open up Task Manager and go to Performance, it is constantly not loading anything. Believe it or not, this is kind of useful, but yeah, it is constantly smacking the paging file on the SSD, because originally Windows 10 64-bit, I believe, only needed 2 gigs of RAM. It now really needs 4, and I don't know why Settings is opening. You can close now. it really needs 4 gigs of RAM, and we are at 2 gigs right now, and it will start hitting the paging file around 2 gigs for some reason. It won't use the last gig. It just smacks that paging file. This wasn't a problem with the earlier versions of Windows 10, but of course those aren't updated anymore. 22H2 will be supported until October of 2025, so we still have almost a year left on 22H2's Windows 10. And I'd actually recommend running Windows 10 if you want a modern day supported OS that's still mainstream. And reason is some builds of Windows 10 will still be supported until 2032. Whereas, well, we're going to get to that, but Windows 11, the last version that runs on it is 23H2, which loses support the same time 22H2 does in Windows 10. This is the last version of Windows 11, not the most recent version of Windows 11. And it's, yeah, it's not going to get updates after next October. So that's one drawback. But I've already ran Windows 11 on this once, so I know it runs fairly decently. But if we notice all of these stats, it's hurting for performance here. But it is still actually quite usable if you are willing to wait a little while. Now, this is the modified Windows 10 install that I installed back in late 2016. And I've rolled it back just to test it more and show you guys how Windows 10 performs. But it's not opening while I just clicked. Yeah, it's trying to. Yeah. 22H2 slows it down painfully slow, as we can see. It's actually an older copy of Firefox, isn't it? I don't know if I updated it or not. I might need to update Firefox on this. I'm not sure. I know one thing, it's taking its sweet time. But yeah, Windows 10, I forgot to log it into the Wi-Fi. That's another problem I gotta fix. I'll be right back. So we got logged in here. This is actually a recent version of Firefox. And I already have it loading into YouTube as we speak. And it's actually a bit quicker than Lion so far. And this is a modern day, fully updated browser. It's still not fast, but if you can get around it taking a while to load, it's still a mildly useful Mac, even if it is a PC now. Believe it or not, this thing was a lot faster when I tested it 2 weeks ago. Yes, I had this video idea 2 weeks ago, but conveniently the M4 Mac just came out. Well, got announced, so I thought this was fitting to do it now, and yeah, it's loading. Strangely, on Firefox, it tries to load the video before it loads the page. It's bad when a G5 outperforms this thing. Oh boy. And I just remember that browser name. It was 10.4fox. Dadgummit. Yeah. Just took me over almost an hour to remember that. It's still loading. I've actually watched videos in Windows on this before, and I can tell you it works. It's not working well.
This episode, we're going to be starting the first of 3 episodes where we are going to
Anyway, as I was getting to, it is the AHCI hacked version of Windows, which allows full performance out of the SATA bus on this for the SSD, which helps it run a little bit better. It allows you to do some of the SATA features. Once everything's loaded, it works better than Lion. As we can see, it just popped up pretty quick, and it's running at 480p already. And this system should run 720. Maybe. That might have been a mistake. No. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I look excited in this video. It's,
Where we are going to show you how to
hey,
set up
yeah,
on a 4,1 to 7,1 Mac Pro. And the reason why we're doing that is because, well, it's just going to be easier for me to incorporate all of them at the same time. Because
full screen.
all these systems should be able to run the same Windows install with no issues other than this one. This one has a few workarounds we'll have to talk about briefly. And this is the reason why we're doing a three-part.
It's running 720p video. It's skipping a few frames here and there, but it's doing more than Lion did, although the video just stopped playing. There it goes. Okay, it's skipping a lot of frames. This system ran 720p fine back in 2017.
Episode 6 of my Mac Pro series.
Probably more a 480p system now, just with today's modern YouTube and stuff. It can run 480p fairly decently.
Your system.
But as we can see, it is running 720p,
This tutorial,
and we should be able to adjust it, maybe.
We'll work on a 4,1 to a
It's just opening up a random ad now. But yeah, as you can see, it works. Slowly, but it works. Yeah. Facebook auto logged in and just actually works totally fine. It's a little slow, but if we open up low-end Mac, it works better than it did in Lion. I always speak too soon, don't I? Come on. Please? There we go. It's actually fairly quick. Once it gets the main part of the page loaded, yeah, it's still loading. But this is a lot faster than it is on Lion. And this is a modern browser that actually, as we can tell, it's smooth. It takes a while to load. And it's more of a memory bandwidth thing, I think, than anything else. But as we can see now, it's just scrolling and loading. Facebook is actually fairly decently usable on this. And that shows you that Windows on this system is actually a lot better. And like I said, if you keep it on Windows 10, you can get updates until 2032 with some versions of Windows 10. We'll get into that towards October of next year. But right now, Windows 10 works totally fine. We'll do another video in the future setting up Windows 10 again on this, on these older Macs. But yeah, plus Windows 10 is the last Windows you can run on a 32-bit CPU 2006 Mac. So that's another thing. Yeah. But now, we're going to update this back to Windows 11 where I had it this time 2 weeks ago. And to do that, I figured out that this thing only likes doing it straight off optical media. Yeah. So we're going to do it straight off optical media. I also figured out that the optical drive in this thing won't read single layer DVDs anymore. It will only read dual layers. I don't know why. But, yeah. Let's do that. I also just noticed after it running Windows 10 for the last 10 minutes, it's just starting to install the drivers for the keyboard and everything I just plugged into it. It's probably part of the slowness part, because it's been trying to figure out what to do with the drivers here. Like I said, it's fast. Anyway, we're going to install Windows 11 23H2, which is the last Core 2 Duo supported Windows. And you can't get 23H2 from Microsoft anymore, so you either have to get it from download from Internet Archive or let's see here. There's also a program you can use to download it directly from the servers, which I'd probably recommend using that. But I got this from Internet Archive, and it took about 5 hours to download from Internet Archive. I've got the disk now, so where drive D, we'll do the same hack we did with the Mac Pro here. Maybe. It's still installing drivers, I think. Hello? Wake up. Thank you. Blazing fast. Please load. Ta-da! Now load it here. Administrator. I don't remember what the program's called. I think it's setup.exe. I can't remember. But D. Yeah, I think it's setup.exe. So .exe. See if it does it. It's doing it. Cool. Yeah, we'll close this junk out here. And we'll let the installer start. So I just filmed this whole section without hitting record. Yeah. So let's talk more about Windows 11 as we've been waiting for the last 6 or 7 minutes for the installer to start. It's starting now. It took 5 minutes before it spun up the disk and tried to figure itself out. As we can see, it's maxing out the paging file in Windows 10. It's only running at 2 gigs of RAM again. I don't know why. But believe it or not, Windows 11 runs better on this. It's a shame that 24H2 can't run on it, because that would extend the life on these even more, as you will see when it's installed. Windows 11 does have one problem, though. It needs a 64-bit CPU, 23H2. It doesn't really matter as long as it's got SSE 4.1. No, it doesn't really matter as long as it's got SSE 2. Yeah, I think you can run it on a Pentium 4. Yeah, 23H2 would run all the way back to a 64-bit Pentium 4. But Windows 11 requires at least a 64-bit CPU, which I said, and 4 gigs of RAM, which this has 3 and it's only using 2. That's a problem. But with the server installer that we just forced it to start running, man, is it maxing that paging file out. With the server installer, it should, in theory, not have a problem. And it will run on 3 gigs of RAM. That's actually 2. And it didn't start the server installer. I waited this whole time for it to start the Windows 11 installer. I'll be back. Hey, the server installer. And it actually took less time because it actually started the right installer this time. It actually only took about, I don't know, 3 minutes to fully get the thing to load up. And it's opening up Task Manager. Why is it doing that? Anywho, yeah, we're on the server installer. So we're going to start by not downloading that. Let's switch this to performance. Next. Let's go check the system. It's still at 100% paging file. It's bouncing between 10 and 70% on CPU. It's at 2 gigs of RAM again. I don't know why it's not seeing the last gig. But yeah, it's installing eventually. So we'll just let it do its thing. Hey, the memory just jumped to 2.1 for a second there. So it is trying to use the extra gig of RAM. It's just not doing great at it. Yeah. That's the 2.1 there. it's still paging it. And it's still making sure I'm ready to install. Will you please hurry up? Hey, we bounced up to 2.2 gigs. Awesome. It's about to max out the memory, sorta. And it's still making sure we're ready to install. Oh boy. The paging file's not taking as much now. So I guess that's a good thing. But it's maxing the CPU out a lot. Yeah, oh boy. And we're starting to page again. It's trying to read the disk again. Oh yeah. Passed. Ready to install. Oh boy. Install. And it's installing. Yeah, and it's actually caused burn-in on my cinema display. Not yeah. But hey, we'll be back in like an hour. Hopefully it will take an hour. We'll see you then. It's been about 2, maybe 3 hours. I've lost count at this point. We're at 79%. The system hasn't restarted yet. I've been sitting here for the last 15 minutes or so and watched it gone from 70 to 79%. So it's still working. It's just taking its sweet time. I literally ended that recording and look, it's just jumped to 83%. So yeah, it's doing it. It's just taking forever. Well, I started installing this, I think, around 12:30. Might have been earlier than that. And it's still installing at around 3:15 in the morning. My estimation of an hour was way off. And it hasn't even restarted yet. It's still technically in Windows 10. Yeah, it's still installing. We're at 87%. We're getting close. Usually around the time it hits 90, it just jumps to 100 and restarts. So, yeah. Yeah, my estimation was way off. I forgot how long it actually took to install Windows 11 on this thing. Yeah. So yeah, literally as I finished filming that video and hit end record, it now says it will restart in a few moments, which translates into the next 15 to 20 minutes, it will restart, log out of Windows 10, and then start installing Windows 11. Yeah. Yay, we're making progress. Well, we're about 10 minutes into this. We'll restart in a few moments. I need to start recording more often because literally as I said that, ta-da! So it's finally restarting out of Windows 10 and it will start installing Windows 11 now. Alright, so it's starting to install Windows 11 officially. It should actually be done in the next 30 minutes, but I probably just jinxed myself, so I'll see you in about 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, she's a little slow installing, but it will be worth it, trust me. So hi, it's been over 24 hours since I started filming this video, and I underestimated how long it takes to install Windows 11 on this thing. Yeah. Anyway, I stopped after I restarted the install for the 3rd time. I finally gave up around 6 a.m. When it was at 15% before it actually restarts from 10 and starts installing 11. And it's still running updates. Anyway, so I have finally got Windows 11 on it. So here's a tip. If you have an old Mac like this with a 64-bit CPU and it's an 06, 07 model, and you want to install Windows 11, you might want to sleep on it, aka start the install and go to bed. Anyway, it's booting up right now, and we'll be right back. And welcome to Windows 11 23H2. It's still loading up, it looks like, but we are in Windows 11. As we can see, there's the Windows 11 menu. We go to System. Where did it go? We're in Windows 11. I am really doing really well trying to sell that you should run 11 for now. System. Where is it? That is not the system I want. There it is. If we go to system, if we go to can we please go to system? There it goes. Yeah. Yeah, it works great. Here we go. We're running a Mac Mini 2,1, aka it's a 1,1 that's been flashed. We've got the 2.33 T7600, 3 gigs of RAM, and it's running 23H2. Now, I'd like to address this one more time. If you want to run Windows 11, right now is a good time to do it. It's fast, it's stable on this, but remember 23H2 loses support in October of 2025. And then in that case, if you still want to get updates and stuff, you need one of the LTS versions of Windows 10 to keep getting updates on this system. But I might as well say it now. I'd recommend running 64-bit Linux, which we'll probably follow up on that in the future. Right now, we're not doing that, though. So let's show you how Windows 11 runs. So we'll open up Task Manager here. Maybe. And now we're running a lot of CPU. There we go. It is still kind of hitting the paging file, but it's not 100% maxed out all the time. It's not constantly paging, and it's using less RAM than they expect it to use. So it's actually, as you can tell, it should run faster. It's a lot quicker, a lot smoother. It works. So we're going to see what it's like using it in the modern world. It's updating Firefox. This has been a long video. We will come back once it finishes updating Firefox. All right, so I decided to switch this over to the dark theme here, as we can see. It looks a little better on camera here. We'll open up Firefox, and it opens Firefox pretty quickly. It takes a while for it to fully load, but it's working. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. It's doing it. It's really doing it. It's slow, but it's doing it. Eventually. Come on, you can do it. There's the dark theme. Whoa. Okay. Cool. Skip. It's bad when it takes so long to load, it just skips the ad.
As I'm in the
Oh, look, another ad.
right now.
Really?
Wish me luck. Grammarly has again been a lifesaver with my application, helping me write my personal statement.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting ad.
Used your digital writing.
It's working great.
It's an all-in-one.
It's still loading the web page.
Productivity, triple checks your work. It saves you time when working on multiple assignments. Even the free feature.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, uh-huh.
Track your word count, find new words.
Skip.
So you want to install Windows 10 or 11 on your Mac. Today's episode, we're going to be starting the first of 3 episodes where we are going to show you how to set up Boot Camp on a 4,1 to 7,1 Mac Pro. And the reason why we're doing that is because, well, it's just going to be easier for me to incorporate all of them at the same time, because all these systems should be able to run the same Windows install with no issues.
It works well, as we can see here. There we go. It takes a while to load.
This is the reason why we're doing it harder. So let's get to it.
But yeah, it's playing. Mostly, what quality is it running on? That's 720. Let's switch it to 480.
Anyone
And as we notice, the menu actually pops up a lot quicker on here.
Okay, mods, and welcome
Oh
to
yeah, that's a lot better.
for my Mac Pro
Full
series,
screen.
where we are going to be setting up Boot Camp. And this is going to be a three-parter for various reasons.
Maybe.
First, we're going to show you
There we
how
go.
to set up your system to install Windows.
Hey, that's not bad.
This tutorial, like I said earlier,
That's watchable and usable. It takes a while to load it, but once it's loaded, we've got YouTube and it works. We can pause it. We can skip forward, hit play. It takes forever to load back up. Okay, we can't scrub it very well, but it does work.
So first you need to install
How about that?
5, which you may have to hack. And I will try to show you how to do that, but I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's a way I can do that right now. We'll figure that out. But this will only run Boot Camp.
Let's go straight to low-end Mac and see what happens.
Description on where to download Boot.
Whoa. Huh. Now that was real time. That was a lot faster than Windows 10. Look at that. It still takes a little while to load, but it's doing it. Hey, it's awesome. Cool. And just so you can also see, everything in Boot Camp still works fine. About Boot Camp 6, control panel, with all the controls, and it actually still sees the OS 10 install because this is made for HFS, well, yeah, that's an HFS drive. It's neat. It actually works. So, yeah, Windows 11 runs on this very well after you get past the slow boot up for the Firefox, but Windows 11 in general is actually, it's fast enough where you could actually use it. In fact, even though I hate Edge, let's see how it runs. And I found the same kind of results, sorta, on this system back in 2016. The Edge seemed to run a little better. The thing is, there was a whole different Edge back then. As we can see, we've got YouTube here, and it loaded up a lot quicker on Edge. And the weird thing is, this is technically Chrome. It's Chromium based. So if you want to run Chrome on here, it should have, in general, the same speeds here. In fact, it might run a little better than Edge. It just gave me the option to install the YouTube app. I wonder how that would run. Let's try it out. Maybe. Sure, try. Yes, of course, and understand this video is kind of slow-paced, but it will hammer home the idea that this does work. It's just a little slow. And I don't know what it... Oh! Okay. Cool. Sure. That is actually not bad. That is shockingly... Wow. I'm a little speechless. And look, an ad for Chrome. It's almost like it hurt me.
And play.
And that's actually shockingly quick.
So you want to install Windows 11 on your Mac Pro, and you have a
I wonder.
1 to 7, 1 Mac Pro.
Let's try 720.
Today's episode in the third part
No
of
way.
the mini-series of this Mac Pro season. We will be talking about how to install Windows 11 on your 4,1 to 7,1 Mac Pro. So let's get to it.
It's running in 720p. It's a little blurry, but that is 720p. It's skipping some frames, but it's a lot better than 9 or 10 ever could imagine. It's actually working.
Anyway, guys, I'm Greg White here, Hrutkay Mods, and welcome to episode 8
Wow.
of season 4 of my Mac Pro series.
Whoa.
Where in today's episode, we will be showing you the workarounds to get Windows 11 to natively.
As you can see, it's a little slow, but it's working. It's working fine.
So let's get to it. All right,
So yeah, Windows 11 is shockingly good on this thing. Like I said earlier, I'd recommend running Linux if you want a modern program operating system to run on here that will be streamlined and run well. Linux is your #1 bet, especially since you're running an unsupported install on here. But it's really impressive how fast that is. Anyway, guys, I hope that enlightens you a little bit on how well this runs Windows 11. It's shocking. It's a shame that we won't get updates past October 25 on this, but it works well. It's scary how well it works. So anyway, guys, let's wrap up the video. So, how useful is a 2006 Mac Mini in today's world with a 64-bit processor? Yeah. How useful is it running Windows 10? Yeah. How useful is it running Windows 11? Yeah. It runs. As we can see here, it's running fine. I don't know if the screen's still up. It probably is now. But yeah, it's running fine. It does slam the paging file, but a lot less than Windows 10 did. Windows 11 is a lot more streamlined on older hardware. It's a pain that you have to make it work. And it's also really, really sucks that it will not support past October 25. But when you think about it, in October 25, this thing will be 3 months shy of being 20 years old. So it running Windows 11 that long, it's impressive. Microsoft did something right, except for the fact that it's still kind of restricted and it can't run 24H2. But Windows 11 works fairly decent on it. As you saw, it's a lot snappier. It's just a better OS on this hardware. It really sucks. 23H2 is the last one. I hate that they did what they did, but it works well for now, and it still gets another 11 months of updates, which is cool. Windows 10, though. Windows 10 works well on it, but only older versions. The 23H211 runs better than 22H210 ever did. It works quite well. It even boots faster. It boots a lot faster, actually. Everything's smoother. Everything just works on it. And once you make sure all the drivers that you need are installed properly, which we may do a video on that because it's a little harder, older hardware. Yeah, once you get all that done, it runs it really scaringly, shockingly well. But would I recommend running Lion in today's modern world? No. As you saw, it ran like garbage. Would I recommend running Windows 10 on this hardware? No, it also ran like garbage. Would I recommend running Windows 11 for the next 11 months? Yeah, it runs well. But if you're wanting a streamlined, mainstreamed OS that's mainly supported, you need to do Windows on this hardware now, and it's getting very long in the tooth. But considering that when Windows support drops, this thing will be 3 months shy of 20 years old, it's something impressive because they stopped support on Lion in, I think, 2013, 2014. And we're getting updates in Windows until 2025. But if you really want to use this in the modern world and have it fast and streamlined and stuff, I'd probably recommend running a modern copy of Linux on it. But that's for another video. Anyway, guys, that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was probably a little bit longer than a lot of my more recent videos have been, but it shows you just the pain it is to make this thing do modern day things. It's actually more painful than a PowerPC in a lot of aspects. It's weird, but I think it's mainly because of the chipset in it and the RAM. Lack of RAM really hurts it. The GPU doesn't help it a whole lot either, but it works a lot better than the ATI GPUs and some of the other Macs from that time period. A lot of driver issues, and we'll get to that in the future. But yeah, it does work. It works well. And on a scale of 1 to 10, Lion's about a 1 on it working well in today's world. 10 is about a 4 or 5, and 11 is probably around a 7 or an 8. It works really well. It's shockingly good. And it's shocking that this thing does what it does so well with so little RAM. And it actually uses all the RAM. It tries to use it anyway before it starts smacking the paging file a lot. But it's using the paging file a lot less. But this poor SSD, it's old. It probably would run even better with a more modern SSD in it. But for what it's worth, it runs well, as you can see. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And don't forget, I do have a Patreon, memberships, please subscribe, like, etc., etc. I've got links in the description at the end of the video, all that stuff. So if you like my videos, please consider supporting me. And that's it for today. This has been a Hrutkay Mods video. So let's see just how useful it is. Let's go. Let's smack the crap out of it. So yeah, how useful is a 2006 Mac Mini with a 64-bit processor in today's world? Useful enough where my dog keeps squeaking at the door. Hush, girl. 1 second. Come in here. Ooh, you're heavy. Ooh, ow. I got you. I got you. Hey, 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 hey. And say hi to my co-host here. Okay. So anyway, so how useful is the... You sleepy? You want to sit in my lap? Okay. Stay calm. Be quiet, all right? Yeah? Anyway. Just relax. Watch your step. Be good, okay? I'm right here. And that's it for today. This has been a Hrutkay Mods video. See, it wasn't too bad, was it?